All right, guys, video number 2. This one will be much shorter than the last one, but it's getting cold out there, and I wanted to do this one in front of a laptop, so I had my hands. But I want to show you guys how to put on the Gilbert plug slash vampire plug, what I've heard them commonly referred to as, really quick and easy. You can terminate ends by, we'll start there. So we'll do the Gilbert plugs in just a minute. But let's say you get to a corner of a house, you don't need to run any more wire, but you also don't want to leave a female or male plug exposed to the elements, especially when the other end is plugged in. You can put one of those on and tape it off, or you can split the end, 1/4 of an inch, take a piece of electrical tape around one side, just a quick wrap so these don't arc. I don't know if that's how electricity works, but it sounds good. So one quick wrap around one side, and then wrap them both together, and now you got to terminate it in. So in order to clean it up, you can cut it a little closer to the plug, which I don't like, because I've learned the hard way in the past that if you cut an electrical wire too short, now you got to make a jumper. So I like cutting it right in the middle. Once you tape it off, you can just put a neat little knot in it. This is also helpful as it gets dark and you need to see whether an end has been terminated or whatever. If you got to go back a month later and replace a bulb or whatever. But anyway, these wires, and this is the exact same thing as zip cord, just has a socket on it, has sockets on it. But same thing, you split the end just like that, about 1/4 of an inch. You find the ribbed side, because there's one smooth side, there's one ribbed side. You take your Gilbert plug, look for the fat blade. Fat blade is down here in the front, which means this spike in the front goes on the ribbed side. So the fat blade is on the front, if you're looking at it this way, right? So fat blade, you take the ribbed side, put it right into your Gilbert plug, and I like to give it a little press, because the very first house I did, one of those little teeth didn't quite make it through, and I had to chase it back to, luckily I started with the first plug. I had to chase it back and find out which one didn't quite do the job. But with this pressed in, just like that, again, ribbed side on the fat blade, the fat side, just a little spike. Now, all you do is you take the cap that comes with them. They'll send you a cap for every plug. Put it on, and then you just lock it down. Just like that. Okay? Go just a little further. And now you've got a plug. Easy day, right? Super easy. Doesn't take a rocket doctor. And then you can do the same thing with the male. You split it a little bit more. So it's about 1/4 of an inch. Maybe 5/16, maybe 7 3/64, just 1/4 of an inch. Fat blade, see? This one's a little fatter than the other. Take the fat one, take the ribbed side. Oop, there it is. The fat blade is on the back, so you flip it over. You put the wire down into your plug, give it a good little press, make sure those little teeth are in there, which is what the other thing is supposed to do. Well, I misplaced it, but it looks kind of like this. This goes to an inline plug, but just like the other one, it goes on like that, and then you squeeze it. You'll notice that the cap on this one is a slightly different color than it is for these other Gilbert plugs. And I think the reason for that is this is for an inline plug. So let's say you've got string of lights strung across a certain point, and you have to drop a cord for an outlet or extension cord, or you have to connect to another line. This, same thing. You take the fat blade, find the ribbed side, put it in there just like that, right in line. Keep this flat, give it a little press. Take your cap, slide it on. And some of these you may need a little squeezy squeeze, but for the most part they go on pretty easy with your fingers. There it is. So now you got an inline plug. So rib side goes to the fat blade of the receptacle on the male and the female end. So it's pretty tough to mess up. You don't have to remember opposites or anything like that. And then if you want to get rid of one of these plugs, now these are I bought the, I guess, high-end Harbor Freight brand because I didn't want to leave any good tools in the trailer. So I tossed this in here. Give it a squeeze. Let's see if it will. And that should pop out of there. Now you don't want to add any connections or remove any connections while it's energized, obviously. But there we go. Let me do this here. Okay. I promise these come off a lot easier usually. There you go. Give it a lift, a little electrical screwdriver or whatever. That wire comes right out of there. And now you have to remove the plug. You just throw some green electrical tape on those little holes, and you're good to go. I didn't have to do this at all on any of the installs. So it's good to know, but you probably won't need it. So get rid of that. Now, let's say, I don't have the wire cutters in here. Let's say you have to add some, let's say you have to add a zip cord or you have to add a length of line and you don't want these plugs sitting down in a gutter from the other line or whatever. You don't want them sitting down in the gutter with the water, or you want it to be a cleaner look. You take your two ends, so if they're cut, take your two ends, put them together with what's called a low heat solder butt connector, and I'll put a link in the description below. Super inexpensive on Amazon. You can put them together, again, rib side to rib side, smooth side to smooth side, and then you first, let me take a step back. So first you slip over a piece of green heat shrink tubing over one whole side of the wire, okay? And then you can do your butt connections with the low heat solder butt connection, and there's probably 10,000 videos on how to do it. It is really, really easy. You need a heat gun, you need a crimper, and it takes about 30 seconds. And then you can put your heat shrink tubing over the two now soldered butt connections, turn on your heat gun, shazam, you've got a waterproof connection without a big ugly plug. I only had to do that a handful of times. but it was nice to have the option and not have to deal with wire nuts or anything like that. So quick and easy, pretty simple. If you can remember rib side to the fat bladed side, you're a pro. You know what you're doing on everything, male, female, inline plug. So hopefully that's helpful. If you guys have any questions, leave them in the comments below. Otherwise, if you get an opportunity, if you would subscribe, if you like this video, there's going to be a lot more videos about Christmas lights coming up, since it is the season, and the season is technically over, minus the takedown. But there will be a lot more videos if it's something that you're curious about trying for yourself next season, because the markup on it is pretty crazy, pretty huge. So it's a good way to pad the bank account before you hit winter. But again, please subscribe, like the video, and leave your questions and comments below. Thanks.